Hi there, welcome back folks. So for today's video we're going to be taking a look at one of Shakespeare's tragedies, Julius Caesar. So take a look in the description below, pause me, read the monologue, and come on back. So Julius Caesar is actually somewhat based in history. There was an actual Roman emperor, Julius Caesar, who was actually stabbed to death. By the way, there is a lot of talk about death and stabbing in this one. So if that is something that you're not going to be okay with, please stop now and come back tomorrow. I'll try and do a comedy tomorrow. And essentially, this play deals with both the lead up to and the aftermath of this assassination. And basically, it's really interesting to look at it because Caesar himself, the title character, dies about halfway through the show. So the first half is all this buildup of why Caesar needs to die and all of the conspiracy, and then his death happens. Big event. And then the rest of the play deals with what happens when the guy who was assassinated is at least decently loved by the population. Because suddenly there's a big uproar about it, and there's an actual rebellion. So, the monologue in particular today that we're looking at is from a character named Mark Antony, who was one of Caesar's best friends and somebody who's fairly high up in Rome politics. And essentially what happens is Antony shows up to where Caesar gets stabbed just after the event happens. And he's suddenly like, oh dear, this is not great. He is very, very upset because, again, Caesar's one of his good friends. He tries to make good a little bit with the people who killed him, but once they leave, he basically vows on Caesar's corpse to get revenge. And then comes probably Antony's best masterstroke of this entire play. So the speech in particular we're looking at, Caesar has died, and Brutus has come to the people to say, hey, this is why we had to kill him. This is what was going on. This is why we, as the Senate, felt that Caesar needed to go. And Brutus, in his first mistake, well, second if you count murdering one of his friends, second big mistake then, I guess, is he lets Antony talk to the people as well. The big mistake in that is that he lets Antony go second. So Brutus has just calmly laid out all of the reasons why Caesar had to go. And then he lets Mark Antony, one of Caesar's best friends, talk to the crowd alone. Brutus leaves because he makes the mistake of trusting Mark Antony to be good. Now, before he allowed Antony to talk, Brutus does tell Antony, hey, you cannot talk badly about any of us who just killed the emperor. That's my big thing. Don't talk badly about us. Just go in, say your piece about Caesar, and be done. And Antony agrees. And he does that. He does not insult the people who killed Caesar. In fact, he highly compliments them. He calls them honourable. He does it several times. And he's using it to basically tell the crowd, no, they really aren't honorable. This was not a good murder. Caesar should still be alive, and we should be angry about it. And it's very interesting looking at this piece because Antony is torn between his grief at losing his friend and his need to get the population on his side. So it's an awesome mix of oration and personal eulogy. So that's where, as an actor, we have to take a look at it, is where do we draw this line? You could go out and make Antony very bombastic, very big, thinking, hey, I'm going to rally these people by being a very forceful public speaker. You could also take it from the perspective of he's breaking down and he's not doing well, but he's still pushing through his pain and his grief to talk. And personally, I think the answer to this lies somewhere in the middle. Yes, he needs to have his powerful voice, but he also needs to be human, because I think that, in the long run, is what gets the people. Because at the end of this monologue, he breaks down crying, basically. And I think that is one of the big things that gets the people on his side, is they show he's human. Brutus went up and cold and calculatedly said, this, and this is what happened. Antony talks to them like a human being. So, the Friends, Roman Countrymen speech from Julius Caesar. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honourable man. So are they all honourable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? And that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff, yet Brutus says he was ambitious. And Brutus is an honourable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honourable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. And there we have Julius Caesar, Friends, Romans, Countrymen. Tomorrow I'm hoping to look at one of the comedies again to kind of lighten things up after that. So we'll see you then. Bye.